All right. Round two, Chalk Talk with Chuck. Let's do it. Had this is one of those weeks of sports that you just gotta like grow to come to appreciate because there was just so much drama and none of it is good for the Philadelphia Eagles. So much drama. You have so much quarterback talk. Matt Stafford in Detroit part ways. You've got Deshaun Watson on the market. You've got an upset Aaron Rodgers after a conference championship game where it's just clear that he and his coach don't get along. And all of this, like this never happens in the NFL. All of this is just horrible news for Carson Wentz. It's terrible news for the Eagles because how are you going to get anything for that guy? I mean, he's underperformed quite a bit. Quite a bit, which is fine if you're trying to get a 6th round pick out of this guy. But you drafted him first, like in the first round of the draft, no more than 5 years ago. You fired your head coach who you built a statue of. So I feel for the Eagles after this week. I do. Because they're not going to get anything for Carson Wentz. Not when there's 2 to maybe 3 really good quarterbacks on the market. And who knows? Like, if one of these guys ends up in LA or San Francisco, well, I would rather have Jimmy G than Carson Wentz. And weirdly enough, I'd rather have Goff. It's awful. So bad. Sorry, Eagles fans. Sorry, Junior. Thank you to Eric and Dom and Ray. You guys listened to the full pod last week and you gave me some advice back. So there's a quick shout out to you guys in the second episode. But let's jump into championship weekend. And we had 2 pretty good games. I went one win, 1 loss in the gambling circuit. And it was kind of I felt bad because I should have teased the Chiefs game in the opposite way. That would have been the right play. Because why would I ever think that Buffalo was going to beat them by more than 3? I got caught up in the whole Josh Allen storyline, the narrative. I wanted Buffalo to win, so I gambled with what I wanted, not with my head. And you just can't doubt Patrick Mahomes like that. It's frustrating. It's frustrating when somebody's that good. It's like Tom Brady. There's so many like exciting storylines that come up in sports, and then there's always the Grim Reaper at the end of the road, and it just seems like Patrick Mahomes is going to be there for the next at least 10 years, just waiting, and it's going to take so much to beat him. You got to have a good pass rush and a good secondary, and you have to have an offense that can score, and there just aren't. Is there really any team in the NFL that can do it? San Francisco was able to do it last year, and they almost pulled it off. But even them, up 10 in the third or 14 in the third, and they lose. And Kansas City was down 12. Or I think they were down 9 early in this game. Should have been 10. Buffalo gets the weird muffed punt. And I guess that's what you have to just prey on when you're playing the Chiefs. Are mistakes outside of Mahomes, because he's not going to make very many. He's almost perfect yesterday. I mean, he is perfect. 29 for 38, so he misses 9 passes. 9 passes? Jesus Christ. For 325 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions, he only took a single sack. Their team combined for 114 yards rushing. And that's only a result of the fact that they can just do whatever they want when they pass the ball, so you have to overplay the pass. That was the feeling the whole game. The whole game was, well, if they need to throw it, or if they're going to throw, it's over. Buffalo couldn't run the ball, and that really killed them. If you're going to beat the Chiefs, you're going to have to hold on to the football too. You're going to have long, sustained drives that are touchdowns, and they kick 2 field goals in the red zone. Inside the 10. Can't do that. You can't do that shit. And I think there's going to be a lot made of that kind of stuff this week, and I get it. And I also get that coaches just want to take points, but the point has been made. If you're up 8 against a guy like Patrick Mahomes or even a guy like Tom Brady, you got to take the points when you're in the red zone. Doesn't matter. The only time you should kick field goals is when it's like, 4th and 10 from the 35. You're kicking a 45-yard or 48-yard field goal. That's it. Otherwise, you have to be so aggressive, especially in a playoff game, in a conference champion playoff game, where Andy Reid's pulling out all the stops, and Patrick Mahomes is going to be playing at his best. The only way you're going to win these games is if you match their aggressiveness and you match their ability to score. I mean, Buffalo really only loses this game by 14 points. And if they get those, if they at least get one of those, it's only 7 points. And it's just a different ball game. It has a different feel to it if you're willing to be gutsy and you're willing to take the wind out of their sails like that, especially when you're the road team. It's a bummer. It's a bummer to see people cower like that. And very similarly, in both these games, you had 2 quarterbacks or 2 coaches who didn't put their faith in their quarterbacks. Josh Allen's never thrown an interception in the red zone. Great stat. He's got like 24 rushing touchdowns on his career in the red zone. Great stat. Use it. Green Bay, heads up. You guys got the MVP this year on your team. Go for it on 4th down in the red zone. And LaFleur's getting raked over the coals, as he should be. He shouldn't have gone into halftime with a timeout in his pocket. There's no reason he should be playing cover 0 on 4th and 3 with 5 wide against the Bucs. I told everyone last week, did I not say Scotty Miller was due? He's been knocking on the door. He was knocking on the door, and he delivered. And it's funny, because he doesn't even really have that. He has 2 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown. Unbelievable. He's targeted 3 times, but he got the touchdown. The most important touchdown of the game. And if you were to look at just the quarterback's lines from that game, you'd think Green Bay would have won. Because Brady has 3 picks. He only throws for 280. Rodgers throws for 300 and 3 touchdowns and only 1 pick. Throws for 350 almost. It's a bummer. It's a bummer when coaching affects the game like that. And it's a bummer when the game could be so much better if just somebody had a little bit more balls. Just a little bit. I mean, Andy Reid's got stones, man. You know how in like every state there's a city named Boulder? At least there is in the West. There's Boulder, Utah, Boulder, Colorado, Boulder, Wyoming. Those cities are named after the size of Andy Reid's dick. Or not dick, but his balls. Not his dick. I don't know about his dick. Probably pretty big, too. Good for him. He's going to his 2nd Super Bowl in a row. They've gone to 3 conference championships. And, arguably should have been his 3rd Super Bowl in a row. Unbelievable. And, I mean, if you just go quarter by quarter throughout that game, it just became so obvious that the Chiefs were going to beat the Bills. And it became so frustrating as a bettor. Because I hedged. And I took the Chiefs money line. God, it was just frustrating because just as a sports fan, it would have been really cool to have the Bills in there. Such a good story. Josh Allen was so much fun to watch this year. And the Chiefs already kind of got that one, and we're going to be so sick of it. I'm cheering for the Chiefs because I can't stand to watch Brady win another Super Bowl. And Mahomes and Andy Reid are so much more likable than just any combination of Brady. I'm cheering for the Chiefs, obviously, but that goes against all wisdom. Oh, don't bet against Brady in the Super Bowl. I made a phone call. I was like, if it's going to be a close game with our friend Uncle Maz, and I said, if it's going to be a close game, we just both have to agree that our new rule of gambling is just don't bet against Brady because he's going to get calls. And not only is he going to get calls, he's going to be clutch. And that's what happened. He was clutch at the end of the second half, and then he got calls in the 4th quarter. He got one big call in particular, and let's just all say, yeah, it was holding, not pass interference. We can all admit that. But we can all admit it also was a foul. And I know that they weren't calling it, and you're going to pull up the Lazard photos. I don't really care. Shit like this happens every year. Happens every year. And then the internet has way too much fun talking about it. By the way, Skip Bayless, retire. I'm calling you out right now. You may never hear this, but if you do, retire. You're out to fucking lunch, dude. You're fucking crazy. I saw him say on an Instagram post, 4 + 0 is 40. What the fuck? Dude, pack your bags. Go buy a nice place and I don't know, but don't buy a place in this country. Because I don't want your posts to be on my time zone, you know? I want you to be posting from somewhere in like the middle of the sea or like Hawaii where it's 3 a.m. my time and it's like 6 p.m. his time, so it doesn't matter. But go retire somewhere where I don't have to see your posts because, dude, you fucking lost it. You're wearing a Brady jersey? You know, if you're a Cowboys fan, fine. Wear the Cowboys jersey, I get it. Like my dad's an older guy. He's got the most badass Steeler jersey. He's got the Chris Tuama'u jersey because he ran for the Utes. My family's big Utah fans. Right? That kind of thing, wear the jersey. But dude, don't just buy the Brady jersey just so that you can make fucking weird Instagrams like you do. Oh, I fucking hate Skip Bayless. I hate anyone on TV talking like that all the time. You ruin sports. You're the reason why other people can't get into sports. Because you're just fucking annoying. I don't get how anyone watches that shit. Everyone out there, stop liking his tweets. Stop liking his Instagrams. Stop sharing them. We've got to get rid of this guy. Anyone who listens to my shit, that's our goal. If by the end of this, nothing has happened other than the fact that he has nobody liking his shit anymore, nobody getting into Skip Bayless, I'm so fucking in. And it's not anything against you personally, Skip. It's against what you represent for the sports world. And you got to know that. And I got to tell you that now. It's not against you. It's just what you represent in sports because it's fucking awful. It's so bad. So yeah, he's out to fucking lunch. He's wearing his Brady shit everywhere. And now I'm going to have to hear a bunch of shit. Here's the thing. Let's do the narratives now. And then let's actually focus on like the football because I have no idea how the Bucs are going to win after what the Chiefs just did to the Bulls. The Bucs look good, but Brady threw 3 picks. Guess what? If you throw a pick, let alone a pair of them against Patrick Mahomes, game over. Game over. This isn't even close to the same Patrick Mahomes that played 2 years ago in the conference championship game. He's got the experience. He's got all the weapons plus a little bit more. Maybe Le'Veon Bell will be back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire looked fine. So, I mean, I don't know. Because here's what we're going to have to deal with. The old versus the new, the changing of the guard, the whole thing. And I'm stoked for that. I'm so excited for this. You know, the NFL was hungry for it. But I don't want to hear people talking about that for the whole week. Where we're going over all of Brady's great wins and all of Mahomes' great wins. And then we're doing the last time they met up. It's fine. I already know. Okay? Last time that they met in a playoff situation, Brady got lucky. D Ford jumped off sides. That's it. Okay. All right, done. Done with that chapter of that. I watched the highlights today. I'm stoked, but I don't want to see them anymore. It's too much. It's too much coverage. Let's not beat a dead horse. Let's get into how in the world is anyone going to stop this team? Their defense didn't even look half bad. They forced an interception. The pass rush looked nice. Josh Allen takes some bad sacks, huh? Oh my God. There's sometimes where I'm like, dude, just get fucking rid of it. It reminds me of watching Ben Roethlisberger in 2000, like from 2003 to 2010, before he learned that he can't take those hits anymore. Where it was like, oh my God, dude, just fucking throw the ball, man. You just lost us 17 yards. And Allen's got the arm to kind of recover from it, kind of like Ben used to. And maybe his antics are going to get them a couple of wins in those games, but man, he looked green. He looked green. This whole Bills thing remind me kind of a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers before Ben's first Super Bowl. Hot young team coming in next year. That it's going to be a little tougher. New England is going to get somebody to play quarterback for them, I think. And maybe the Jets get Deshaun Watson, and all of a sudden, okay, your division's not that easy anymore. Miami doesn't look bad at all. And maybe they're a wild card team, and then maybe they get hungry enough to go to the Super Bowl. If they did that, that would be so bizarrely just like the Steelers. But I think that things get a little tougher for Buffalo next year, but I still think they're going to win that division. I do. And I think they're going to be back, and they're going to be a team that's relevant. So if you're a Buffalo fan, don't put your head down. This isn't Tyrod Taylor who led you to the playoffs like he did, 4 years ago? 5 years ago? Josh Allen's here. He's here to stay. He likes the city. He wants to play hard for you guys. That's all you can ask for. I know it's hard to be positive right now as a Bills fan, but trust me, there's green grass ahead of you. And, Kansas City's going to be a monster you got to play every year. Get used to it. Start building your team to beat them. And play smart down the stretch. Man, how about this? Hey, NFL, this one's for you. If there are offsetting penalties, let's not take the extra 10 minutes to figure out who we're penalizing, what we're doing, what the call is. Just let that all happen after the game. Just say, hey, offsetting penalties, details will be assessed at the end of the game. God fucking damn it. The game's pretty much over. There's 3 minutes left, maybe. Josh Allen throws the ball into what's his, face mask, and then his offensive lineman comes to back him up, and we get the offsetting penalties, and we're there for 10 fucking minutes waiting for the refs to get this thing right. That's so bad for the sport. If you get into that huddle and you go, okay, do you see what I see? We've got offsetting penalties. All right, done. Boom. Let's run fourth down. Let's get the clock and the ball placement right. But I don't need you sitting there for 5 minutes determining whether it was number 90 or 92 and how you're going to make the call. Just say two unsportsmanlike penalties or 3 unsportsmanlike penalties on the play. Details will be released after the game. Let's move on. For fuck's sake, you're taking the wind out of the sails of this game that's already kind of a blowout. So bad for the sport. It is. It's so bad. And it's so fucking annoying to see him come out there and say offsetting, we're replaying the down. Oh. Are you fucking kidding me? All of that so you can tell me you're going to replay the down, and then all of that so that Buffalo can kick a fucking field goal. Jesus Christ. So annoying. Oh, I was so mad. Hey, one of the best onside kicks of the year, though, by Buffalo. What a recovery. What a whole play. That whole play was awesome. The perfect bounce. The guy goes up in the air. He gets absolutely hammered, which you never see on special teams anymore. Ball comes loose. Buffalo falls on it. And the best Edmonds brother falls on it. Man, the Steelers got the short end of that family tree. But yeah. Wow. Great onside kick by Buffalo in a game that just wasn't going to go their way. You can't only score 2 touchdowns and beat Patrick Mahomes. You can't. Got to score more than that. More touchdowns than that. You can't score 3 points in 2 quarters and beat Patrick Mahomes. Not going to happen. So yeah, I mean that's a little analysis of that game, and for a little deeper dive into the Tampa Bay game, I guess, just for the hell of it. First half was great. Second half, not so great. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed watching Rodgers lose. I'm enjoying all the news about Rodgers probably not going to be in Green Bay next year. I'm loving all of that. All of that shit is so good. But you know what I don't love? When the opposing team's quarterback throws 3 interceptions and you don't do anything with 2 of them. They punted after 2 interceptions. That's like saying, oh, thanks for the ball. Here's it back. We didn't really want it anyway. We'll get it back the other way. And that fucking guy, King, got cooked like 3 times. God, poor bastard. The internet's not going to be friendly to him for the next couple of days. He got fucking cooked. It reminded me of watching William Gay for the Steelers before he was good. You need a penalty? Throw it at that guy. Oh, you need a red zone touchdown? Throw it at that guy. It's all right. I believe in him. He'll come around. But man, he got fucking fried, huh? All game he got worked. And, miraculously, Brady's in the Super Bowl again. Unbelievable. It's just incredible how consistent he's been throughout his career. He drops 21 points in the first half and then only 10 in the second. But it's enough. And the defense looked pretty good. They didn't look great. They only forced 1 interception. They gave up 350 yards passing. So they didn't look like fantastic, but they were good enough. And, it's kind of like I said, if this game's 4 to 5 points, I like Tampa because the defense is better. And they didn't even force more turnovers. Green Bay just didn't look like they could do it. And they gave up the big plays. They gave up the big play to Godwin, and they gave up the big play to Scotty Miller. And if you give up the big play, you're going to lose. And Devontae Adams makes a big mistake. He has that drop. And in what was like really early in the game, it felt like too. And they kicked the field goal. And it's just like, God, you just had this weird fucking feeling. If he gets that, they go into halftime 14-21 instead of 10-21. And 10-21's a shitty score, especially when you've got him down, fourth, you got him dead to rights, 4th and 3. And I don't know what the fuck is going on in the defensive coordinator's head. The defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, just as much as the New York Jets defensive coordinator, should be fired. Colossal blunder. Cost you probably that team's best chance at the Super Bowl for a good bit. And that's all it's about. You have Rodgers. You probably don't have Rodgers anymore. And if you do, you might have him for 1 more year. God, you gotta fucking capitalize when you have a quarterback like Rodgers. And the fact that he's only won a single conference championship game isn't good. He's 11-9, I think, as a starter in the playoffs. And remember, the only time that he won the conference championship game, Jay Cutler got hurt for the Bears. It's the infamous Jay Cutler could have played, but he didn't game. That's the only time Rodgers has won the NFC Championship game, and he almost lost it to that fucking backup. Good Christ. Or maybe, maybe that wasn't the conference championship game, but that's one of his playoff wins. I'm pretty sure it was, though. It's just, Aaron Rodgers, man, got fucked with coaches. Mike McCarthy, bad. Bad. We found that out this year in Dallas, huh? Wow, Mike McCarthy, bad. Matt LaFleur, not looking so good, and he just carries these coaches through their careers. Because he's so good himself. He's so good himself that he can't get a coach fired to get the right guy in there. And we've seen this a couple of times in NFL history, I feel like. Where you've got sort of the inept coach, but just the unbelievable quarterback. Like, God, Kyler Murray almost saved Cliff Kingsbury's job this year. How is he still a coach? I can't wait for the betting lines to open for first to be fired last year. Holy fuck, Cliff Kingsbury. He's awful. That's another thing, man. There's so many coaching availabilities this year, and Eric Bieniemy still doesn't have a job. I'm going to bring this up as often as I can until he's hired as a head coach. I don't care if I'm beating a dead horse. That's a real storyline right there that no one seems to be talking about. Only NFL Twitter seems to really have any say about this. Eric Bieniemy deserves a head coaching job simply for the fact that he's been the offensive coordinator for a team that's been in the AFC Championship and now the Super Bowl for the past 3 years. 2 out of the past 3, 2 in a row, he's gone to the Super Bowl, and for 3 on AFC Championship games. And I know you're going to say it's the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes things. I don't care. Other coaches have been hired on less. Kneecap guy? Yeah, it's a fun narrative, but fucking kneecap guy over him? What was that character in Fairly Odd Parents? The bronze kneecap? Yeah, that's what I'm fucking calling that dude. The bronze fucking kneecap. I mean, unbelievable. NFL teams are fucking allergic to making good decisions, it feels like. At least the Detroit Lions are. Allergic to a good decision. Huh. Fuck. And how is Chicago retaining Matt Nagy? That guy's awful. How do you retain anyone? If you're Chicago and you're looking at Patrick Mahomes do this, and you have the defense that you have in Chicago, and Allen Robinson, and the running back you have, everything in Chicago is great other than the quarterback play, really. Everything's pretty fucking good. And you're in the front office there and you're just looking around, you know what you say? What the fuck? Everyone here's fired. You took Mitchell Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes. You're a fucking idiot. You're all fired. The intern who printed off the paper to tell us to draft him, fired. I don't know. Just, it's fucking awful. And I don't know how Kansas City fans have already done it, but man, they've already made me hate them. It's unbelievable. Have some class. God. And the players waving at the Buffalo guys. I mean, I get it. The taunting's going to happen, but I just hate shit like that. Like, do that shit. You can do that shit to the Steelers. You can do that shit to the Patriots. You can do that shit to Tom Brady, but you can't do that shit to fucking Buffalo, man. I don't care how much you're dominating them. Poor fucking Buffalo. You can't do that shit to them. Just do it to teams with storied franchises, you know? Who it doesn't hurt so much when they fucking lose. But no, yeah, great. I'm so fucking stoked to be hearing everyone talk about Patrick Mahomes for the next 7 years. I'm so stoked to watch it, though. I'm so stoked to watch it, and I'm stoked to see this Super Bowl. It's gonna be great, and I gotta stop being upset Buffalo's out because this is really, for me, the ideal matchup. Because I think Green Bay just gets shredded by Kansas City. I think they would. I think they get murdered. It'd be great, you know. It's always great to watch a guy that you really, really like to cheer against lose, and it would have been great to see Rodgers lose in the championship. But then they would have gone to the Super Bowl, and he probably stays in Green Bay, and Jordan Love doesn't get a shot, and the whole thing, and, you know, you keep the band together. But now that they've lost in the NFC Championship game 2 years in a row, and I know it's such like a luxurious thing to be losing in every year, but it just feels like it's time. You got weapons in Green Bay. You have Devontae Adams. Go draft another good weapon for your rookie quarterback. You've got Aaron Jones. I feel like that team can win a bunch of games in that conference anyway. It's the perfect time to start developing your next quarterback. And let Rodgers go to LA and give it a shot. That'd be so fun to fucking watch. Him in that offense. Him in San Francisco's offense. Let him go. You know? I wish the Steelers had cap space. But they'd never sign a quarterback like that. Never. Never. And you know what is absolutely crazy to me? How is no one talking about the Washington football team in all of these talks about who's going where? Heineke, he's fine. But come on. You've got a young, good defense, pretty good secondary. You got 2 great young edge rushers. Somebody better start just, at least on social media, start throwing their name in the bucket. Just so that maybe one of their, they seem so incompetent that they probably read that shit, their front office. Just get somebody. I don't know. It's been good, though. Man, what a great week of football we got to appreciate. And what an offseason we're going to have. Deshaun Watson said he wants to play for the Jets. That's it, New York. Sell everything for that guy. He led the league in passing. On that team, you got better weapons in New York than they do down there. Will Fuller's like a quarter of a weapon. That guy can't stay healthy. And then the one year he does stay healthy, he's juicing. David Johnson, the consensus first-round fantasy pick 5 years ago. I mean, Jesus Christ. Somebody that good wants to be a Jet, take him. I don't care if you got to give away every pick you own. Just do it. You're New York. Oh, we have Deshaun Watson. He's really good. Okay, let's go get some weapons. Okay. The defense isn't that bad. Do it, New York. Just fucking do it, man. He's Deshaun Watson. Just do it. And then Stafford, who I think the best thing if Rodgers doesn't end up, because when Rodgers hits the market, it's going to be too late, and there's these teams that are just like so excited to do something different, and that team that I'm talking about is the San Francisco 49ers. They are just hungry for change at the quarterback position. It's so funny to me. Every time something happens on Twitter, 49ers fans are like the first people to comment. And they got a billion reasons for why that guy is a good fit for their team. It's like, yeah, guess what? If the guy is a big name free agent, he's a good fit for almost every team. Matt Stafford makes a bunch of teams in the NFL better. But I see, you see like these ridiculous fucking tweets where it's some guy who is a huge Niners fan or something, and he's like, yeah, Matt Stafford's more mobile than you think he is. It's like, no, he's not. He's about as mobile as I think he is. It's like, look at how he slides out of the pocket on this play. Oh, you mean he has good pocket awareness? He has to. He plays in Detroit. Don't tell me he's more mobile than I think he is. I fucking hate cute shit like that. What is that? Who the hell is the guy who's like, this is a sexy little NFL tweet I'm going to throw out there. I'm really going to show people that I know more by using a word like mobility and associating it with a player who isn't traditionally known for it. Guess what? You want to know why he's not? Because he's not that at all. Yeah, he moves around in the pocket decently, but he's not mobile. Yeah, he can scramble a bit, but you wouldn't ever say Big Ben Roethlisberger was a mobile quarterback. You know who's a mobile quarterback? Lamar Jackson. You know who's a mobile quarterback? Patrick Mahomes. They're mobile. If they need to run and get a couple of yards, they can do it. Josh Allen, mobile. But Matt Stafford, his mobility has got to be like at its best a 37 out of 100. It's better than mine, sure. It's better than the average Joe, sure. But for an NFL quarterback, it's pretty ass. Not ass, but it's just pretty average for the style of quarterback he is. So stop attributing traits to him that he doesn't deserve. It drives me fucking nuts. Everyone on Twitter wants to show me why they know more about football than I do. And all I think every time is, I'd just be more impressed if he just presented things that meant something to me. You know, like somebody posted a stat. This means something to me. Somebody posted a stat that, since he's been in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes hasn't lost by double digits. If I'd have heard that last week, I'd have bet on him this week for these last games. If I'd have heard that, I'd have bet on him. That's a good fucking stat. You know what that tells me? If I can tease him up to +3, I'm pretty good. Anytime that I can tease him into positive territory, I'm working in a pretty nice zone. That's a good stat. But don't come at me with Patrick Mahomes is actually better when he moves to the left than you think he would, or when he's moving across his body than you think he would. On downs and distance of more than 8 yards. My rule is that anytime we're a tertiary statistic removed from the actual play itself, that's it, I'm fucking out. Like, Aaron Rodgers is 11 for 2 in the past 2 years when playing in weather above 45 degrees and wind is under, 12 miles per hour. Like, oh my God, guess what that stat means to me? Nothing. Aaron Rodgers is better in good weather. Great. I already knew that. Not only that, I don't care what degrees it is outside. The guy gets paid millions of dollars and he's the MVP candidate. Guess what? I expect him to be good no matter what. Those fucking stats are ridiculous. Stop wasting my time with that advanced analytics shit. And I'm not even against advanced analytics. I'm against shit like that. When Troy Aikman pulls that shit up while Rodgers jots out onto the field. It's like, oh God, are we really doing this bit again? Fuck me. I gotta hear him break down the tertiary stat of the week. Phillip Rivers is, 10 for 10 and 3 when he gets his kids to bed before their bedtime, or when they're asleep before 10 o'clock. Like, what? How the fuck do you... What? But, here we go. That's going to be a stat out there. Since his third kid, Phillip Rivers is X on this. It's like, God, dude, that's so fucking annoying. God, it's fun to rant about shit like that. And guess what? I can do it because it's my podcast. How about that? So next week, I guess it's a little early, because it's 2 weeks away. So in a week, I'll give you my predictions. But this is what I'm going to say as of right now about the Super Bowl matchup. I love it. I'm so excited for the defense of Tampa Bay. Because it all hinges on them. And I can't wait to really see if, like Devin White, how legit is this guy? You got to take one aspect of the game away from him, and it's not going to be Mahomes, and it's not going to be Kelsey, it seems like. So you got to take away Tyreek Hill, and you probably got to take away the running game too. You got to take those two things away, and you just got to pray Mahomes and, Mahomes makes a mistake. Or there's a special teams error. I'm just really excited to see what they're going to do. What are they going to scheme up? You got to get to Mahomes. You got to make him rush. But man, there was Mina Kimes tweeted something today about how do you not say the F word when you're announcing games with Patrick Mahomes in it, and he's falling down, spinning, and he throws the ball on a rope. God damn it. So even getting pressure to him doesn't really work that great. But it's probably better than not having any pressure at all, is all I'm going to say. Because you're not going to be able to guard Tyreek Hill for more than 5 seconds. He's going to get open. And if it's not him, Mecole Hardman will. And if it's not Hardman, it's going to be Watkins. And Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes just have some weird telekinetic power where they're just on all the time. Yeah, I'll say this. I think the Chiefs are going to win, and it's going to take a whole hell of a lot to convince me otherwise. I've done a full 180. I've done the full 180. And yeah, by the way, it's the full 180, not the full 360, you fucking morons. Oh, I hate when people say that shit. But anyway, I've done a full 180, and I'm all in on the fucking Chiefs. I'm in. I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. I think everyone else should be. Let's just enjoy this. Because, man, we're not going to enjoy Mahomes for much longer. Because it's going to start getting annoying. So let's just enjoy this one little round right here. The back-to-back. Maybe he three-peats again against a quarterback that I hate, but I doubt it. So I'm just going to enjoy the back-to-back. I'm going to love watching it. It's going to be exciting. And when it's over, it's over. And I'm going to go on, and I think next year is the year that I start disliking the Chiefs a lot. But for now, I'm going to enjoy it. It's going to be hard to dislike Mahomes, but at some point, it's just going to happen. It's like Steph Curry. I should have just learned to have enjoyed those 2 MVP seasons before they got Durant. Because I started hating him a little too early. And not appreciating how good Steph Curry was. Even though he was the unanimous MVP. I just didn't really appreciate him. And I gotta just appreciate Mahomes. And the NFL needs to too. It feels silly that he didn't win the MVP this year. Stop trying to be like, oh, we're the league of kings of parity. When you got a guy like Mahomes, just let him win a few MVPs in a row. He was clearly the MVP this season. And I know all the Rodgers stats, but especially after watching yesterday, and then what we're going to watch in 2 Sundays, where I guarantee he comes out and balls, we're going to be like, wow, yeah, he got robbed. Like 4 years down the road, we're going to be like, well, there was that year Rodgers won. Probably should have been him. Kind of like the year Durant, or not the year, like what people say about the Karl Malone MVPs, where it's like the league's just got to mix it up, man. Can't keep giving that shit to Jordan. And I'm a Jazz fan, and I'll say that. I mean, Karl was a great player. Definitely the second best player in the NBA that year. But you know what? Definitely the second best, you know? It's like the Derrick Rose MVP. Oh, I'm going to take so much shit for saying that. Oh, I love it. Bring it on. You can't tell me LeBron didn't deserve that. One of those Nash MVPs should have gone to Kobe. All of that just to make the point that, hey, NFL guys, let's stop being sexy about this. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback and the best player in the league, and let's just acknowledge it. Let him have the trophy case. He's going to have the Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVPs anyway, and then you just look dumb for not letting him be the MVP. Or not letting him, or not giving him the MVP that he clearly deserves. Because he's the best player in the NFL. And he only lost 1 regular season game, and man, does it fucking grind my gears. I want to see a team go undefeated. I do. I'm into that kind of shit. I'm into being like, yeah, guess what? I watched like every Kansas City game this year because I did. Sunday Ticket's awesome, by the way. Everyone who likes football, even mildly, if you're like, yeah, I love watching the games on Sunday night, like just get Sunday Ticket, man. It's so worth it. I get to see Patrick Mahomes every down if I want to. You can split the screens up and go like 8 screens. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, I pretty much watched all Kansas City games this year, and I would have been just so grateful to be like, yeah, I watched that whole season. It was incredible. I'm always jealous when I get to hear like my grandparents and my parents talk about the sports things that they got to see. Like my dad went to the first night World Series game. But man, I would have been stoked just to be like, I watched that shit on TV. It was awesome. But that kind of shit, you know? I like to be appreciative of that kind of stuff. Because it doesn't come around often. So I hope one of these years Mahomes strings it together. Feels like he will. But that's probably enough. I'll come at you next week with the predictions. Also, starting to watch the NBA this week. Tomorrow the Jazz play, and I'm going to watch the Jazz game. And I'll be coming at you guys with more NBA-like stuff. Obviously, I'm going to watch the other teams in the league because nobody cares about Utah Jazz but Jazz fans. But I'm going to start watching the NBA. I'll be bringing in NBA takes. Probably have some of my buddies on who are a little bit more knowledgeable about the NBA stuff than I am. I can't wait. I'm going to have Cheeky's on here soon, guys. The biggest Homer LA fan I've ever met in my life. It's going to be fucking great. He's going to stir the pot. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully he's a little organic. Sometimes he comes off a little anal when he knows he's on a podcast. I hope he listens to this. But yeah, that'll be it for the week. Thank you for listening. Remember, stop liking Skip Bayless's tweets. Stop sharing them. Stop acknowledging him as a sports presence. It has to end now, guys. It has to end now. If you like my podcast, that's the requirement. We just don't like Skip Bayless. And it's not anything personal to Skip. It's what he represents in the sports world. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for listening.